it's actually a very simple thing, right? So Tuka and I decided at one point in grad school that we wanted to learn how to do web development, and we wanted to do something good. So we literally just started this website where, you know, you go, you sign up, and then every week you get an email introducing you to another person on the campus. And right now it's at MIT, it's at University of Toledo, it's launching at University of Virginia, so it's at several campuses. But the only reason I think it's useful for me to show this is there's not even much to show you, it's so simple, right? You just literally get an email to your inbox once a week. I think it's worth me saying though, because I had zero web development experience. I mean zero, right? And I think anybody in the room could easily pick it up as easily as I did. I mean, it wasn't easy initially, it's confusing, but you know, you really can do it, right? Like I'm saying that as somebody who had no experience at all. You know, and you can, the nice thing is you can test your algorithms, your products, your services. So Tuka mentioned, you know, this algorithm that we spoke about, that's going to take your audio and your physiology and all this nonsense, right? And it's going to give you a conversation score. Well, okay, that's great. You showed it in the laboratory, but if you want to deploy it, well, there's a really easy way if you can make web applications, right? You just create a website, you say, hey, upload 2 files here. Send it to your Python backend. It processes, and it sends you back the score. And now everybody can interact with your algorithms. If you want to be an academic in the long run, that's going to increase your citation count. That's going to make other scientists love you because they get to use your work very easily. All of us know how much it sucks to try to use somebody else's code that doesn't work, right? You know, I learned that very painfully in grad school. So yeah, I mean, I think it's worth. I think the way of the future is, you know, to take anything you build and to try to have a web demo version of it. So web dev is a useful, I think, tool to have in your arsenal. So that's for that one. Speaking of fishing expeditions, maybe the last thing to show you, I'll show you this. Okay, so if any of you are interested in medical data, this website has a collection of 60,000 patients' data, all of it. I mean everything. The waveforms, the doctor's notes, which doctor was working on which patient when, all of it. The medications, all of it, okay? All de-identified, all publicly available for free for research purposes. So if you guys want to, if you're interested in, you know, medical informatics, because you had been asked to speak about EEG, this is one of the databases I was an author on. I'm right here, right? That you can download and use completely for free if you want. The EEG one will also be released, but it's not publicly online yet. So when I, you know, develop data sets, depending on how painful the collaborators are, which I'm sure all of you have dealt with this as well, depending on how painful the collaborators are, it can speed up or slow down how quickly you release the data. So those EEG guys, some of them are a little more protective of their baby than these guys were. So it's a little slower to get it out.
Is all of your code, it's shared on your personal website, the one for the IMAP, it's the GitHub, right?
No, well, we haven't put it up yet. We want to clean it because there's some portions of it that it's just going to look confusing if you see it. So we're going to package that all in the library so that it's sort of, you're abstracted away from it and you can make a single function call and just get the data out.
Okay.
Right? We don't want to, I mean, you can go in and dig through it if you want. Right, but we're going to try to abstract away from it so that you can.
In fact, there's parts that you wrote, I wrote, and then we try to like join those.
Yeah, shared code projects are always that way.
So what would that website be?
Which website?
To get the
Oh,
once you upload it.
Yeah, GitHub. So let me, if you come here and you type, you know, GitHub, Mohammad Ghassemi, my name, I think it will come up. Yeah, here it is. There's me. You know, I actually, so that you know, I grew the spirit out from my PhD, and I kind of became attached to it after I graduated. You know, but this is what I look like without it, and without my hippie hair. You know, so yeah. So there's some different projects on here. There's the mimic thing I told you about earlier. There's the mimic code that we use to do that. You know, there's some sequential regression stuff, scraping New York Times headlines if any of you want to do that. But the code will be posted here. Yeah, and we'll send an email to Moon who can share it with all of you once it's
as long as you put down your email clearly here, I'll send out. Otherwise, you can reach out to the email on the poster.
You said just out of curiosity, what you all do? You all do something different to social media to I don't know, cover yourself from like all this data mining, or just go like
Cover yourself, so, well here, well, I'll answer the question as I understood it. I mean, my data is mine, right? I mean, I'm giving it to these companies. So I have every right to download it and use it for my own purposes. I didn't put here how to download your friend's data, right? If you want to download your friend's data, you should go speak to Facebook, right? Like, they can help you with that. I think, the idea is that you own your data. You're giving it to them. So the minimum you should do is have a copy of it, right? At a minimum, you should just have a copy of it so that you can play with it. And they have it in these nice, beautiful formats and tables where they can run one query and see all the information about you in a nice little sheet. Wouldn't it be nice if you had that? That's the idea. So that, actually, what's really fascinating is that, have you guys heard this story about Target? The Target pregnancy thing? Okay, let me tell you this story, you'll love it. So Target hired some AI guys, and what the AI guys did is they looked at people's purchase histories, in addition to, if any of you have browsers and you allow people to install cookies, cookies actually, what they do formally is, they monitor all your other web traffic, and they report back. So let's say that I wanted to be a snoop, I wanted to know what my friends are doing. So I have my personal website, let's say, and let's say I put a cookie on your browser, and I say, oh, visiting Ghassemi.mit, you have to install this cookie or I won't show you the content. Okay, now you install and you forgot about it. Well, this cookie now we do is you go to Google and it sends me and says, oh, guess who went to Google? Well, what this person did who visited you. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, guess where they went now? They went to Gmail. Oh, and then they looked this up, right? And it reports that information back to me. So have any of you ever wondered how when you go to Google and you type in fish cakes, then when you log into Facebook, Facebook somehow knows that you were Googling for fish cakes and starts advertising. That's how they do it. Yeah, because they just leave a cookie on your machine and then they can grab that traffic.
They make it sound so harmless that I love cookies.
Yeah. It has a nefarious, I think they named it that way so that it wouldn't seem nefarious. Oh, it's just a cookie. It's a gift.
And in fact, if you look at any website you're going to, let's say reading the news or whatever, they have those little icons like Twitter or Facebook or whatever. They're all, that's all of these websites code in that second website. And they're tracking that you're on that website.
Yeah, they know
That's how
you've
they
been
get, like, that's how you know you went to the New York Times or read that article. Because like that Facebook logo or whatever, Pinterest or whatever.
So do you clear your cookies at some point? Like,
That can only help you to some extent because they're so good that they'll have your IP address, and unless you have a dynamic IP address, they can tie it to that. Okay, so your computer has a particular, it's like your address of your home. Your computer has one. This telephone has one. So then what they can do is, if you go to Google and they say, oh, 192.168.3 logged into this Gmail account. Oh, I wonder what that IP address could be. Oh, they know it's you. So now they say, oh, okay, you logged out of Gmail, you cleared all your cookies. But they still know that IP address went to this site. They're like, oh, I wonder who that could be, right? Well, they know it's you, right? Because unless somehow somebody got into your machine and is now using it, right? So there's more than one way for them to figure it out. I think that's the reason why it's actually very important that, we should all get used to never deleting our history. You should actually archive it and store it. Because it's your property. It's worth $40 a year, right? I mean, that's $40 a year in the worst case scenario. It might be worth even more than that. So get used to treasuring this data that you're creating, that people are fighting and battling to get a hold of, right? It's very valuable. So, other questions?
Would you mind putting your email address again?
Oh, yes, of course.
I think I
I'll just, can you see it? Well, no, I'll just write it here. It's here. So let me write both of our emails. And, feel free to email us if you have questions. Mine is my last name. And then Tuka's is even easier. It's her first name.
I have business cards.
Oh yeah. So yeah, the idea is that Tuka and I thought you know, oh, let's try, you know, we're both PhD students. We said, oh, let's try to see if we can do a startup, right, out of grad school. So we're gonna try for a year, and then if we fail, we'll go to professors. So we have some, you know, business cards that we printed out, you know, which you're welcome to take, copies of if you want. We can leave them here. Right, we'll leave them up here, and then you guys can come just take them as you please.